This is Sharpens Well Survival, and today I have the Esee 6. This is one of my ones that I've had for quite a long time. It's been riding around in the trunk of my car in my kit, so I decided to do a review on it. This one I set up with a pouch and a tin, but that's not going to be covered today. What I originally got was a hard sheath, the snap-on clip, and a knife. I added this, the pouch, and the tin inside. But the knife, as a typical Esee 6, it's got a micarta handle, spacers, full tang. It's made of 1095. It's 11 3/4 inches long with a 6.5 inch blade and just a touch over 1/8 of an inch thick. The 1095 sharpens well and holds a really good edge. This thing's been kind of, and the surface coating on it, oh, I don't remember what they said, but this stuff is tough. It's really hard to wear off. You see people online complaining about trying to remove it if they want to patina the blade and stuff. I usually just leave it because it's put there for a purpose that tends to protect the blade. As you can tell, it's darkened up, except for like where I've touched up the edge, where it isn't. So it does a good job protecting the blade, because this thing was in the trunk of my car when it got nailed in a flood, and it'd been underwater for a bit. So there's absolutely, you can't hardly tell at all except for a little darkening of the edge. The warranty on an Esee is phenomenal. They travel with the knife, doesn't matter who it goes to, and no sales receipt or anything along that line. I'm guessing that they've got a way that they can tell what it is. Not an issue, because you know, with anything that sells well, there's going to be counterfeits. This is a field knife designed by them for people that go out in the bush and things along that line, and for their classes and things. This is red cedar, and some of the things that you would typically do with a knife would be fire making material, shelter making. So we'll get off a bunch of the red cedar bark, usually burns pretty well. And anybody that knows what Osage is, Osage is hard as woodpecker lips. It is not a nice wood to work with. They make bows out of it. They used to make wagon wheel spokes and things along that line. Handles made out of Osage. You'll work to get it done, but they'll last and they're tough. They make fence posts out here in the great forests of Kansas with it. That I know there's fence posts in the ground that have been put here in the late 1800s, and the inside doesn't rot very readily. It's kind of impressive stuff. As you can tell, it cuts well. This is birch. Cuts the birch pretty well. There's some birch bark right there. There's absolutely nothing to the edge. It's still wicked sharp. That's usually my test for how sharp a field knife is, and it's peeling the surface off my fingernail. If it's biting your fingernail, it'll do what you need it to do. Now, people seem to like to I don't like batoning a knife. Never really have. That seems to be the big gig on the internet, so. The other thing is most anything will split. You can take a wood wedge and drive a wood wedge into the grain like that to split it, you know. So to me, that's kind of meh. Like I said, this stuff is hard. Again, it's still sharp. Shaved a spot. But if you're going to do, see, that's the sort of thing, if you're going to be shelter making, trap making, knocking notches in like that, especially if you're doing it in something that hard, that'll tell you right there just how tough a knife is. Crosscut batoning. Again, I don't like doing it because on the off chance that your knife breaks, you're probably in a situation where you really got to have that knife. And if you're doing something stupid like that, and you break your knife, then your primary means of survival is gone. And granted, I hear most people, oh, but they've got a lifetime warranty. Yeah, but if you're in a survival situation and you can't get in to send it to them, that warranty really doesn't mean anything. It only means something when you're in a civilized world. So don't let that warranty fool you. I mean, it's a great warranty. It's the best warranty that I've seen on a knife. But then again, you know, when you're out practicing and using it and you happen to break it or do something stupid, that's good. That's well and good. If you're 200 miles out in the middle of nowhere, how are you going to get it there? You know, that's kind of what I'm saying. But for working up tinder, whatever you need to do, to get things livened up, especially for a fire, your shelter, your cleaning game, if you get that far to catch it, this is a handy knife. They run in, I think right now, I looked it up on Amazon at the time of this video, it was $163 for this. I'll have a link below. The sheath, which is a hard Kydex sheath, and a snapper clip. And my original intent on putting the lanyard on like this was I could snap this through a bit of molly gear on the outside of the pack that it was riding on and run this through a couple of times, or take it off and run it through the molly to secure the bottom so it didn't sit there and flop around when I was moving it about and things along that line. Everything stays secure. That was my main idea on that. And I wanted a knife that I have beat the hell out of in the past, as they're not cheap to put in a no shit bag, but if you have to depend upon it, you want one of the better ones that you can get. And these things have been abused and grossly abused around the world, and they have a really good reputation. And from what I've seen of them, they work great. But this is the Esee 6, and it does what you kind of want it to do. One thing I haven't tried, and this is I'm not sure of the newer ones, but the spine on these isn't sharp enough to run a fire steel or a ferrocium rod. But like I said, I've had this thing for, I don't know, 6-8 years anyway. I was wanting to check to see if no, it's not sharp enough. You would have to use the edge of the blade. That's not something I like doing. That's not sharp enough either. It wouldn't take much, I don't think. You'd have to take the black off, to get the back of the blade to where it would have a nice sharp spine. Your other option is at the very base of it, is where I'd probably use that. So it does. It'll discolor your knife a little bit. Kind of takes the edge off, so you want to do it where you won't normally. That's not too bad. But it's not something I like using. That's why I put a little ceramic bit on there. You can use it to set up your fire. The SE6 Rowan. Nice knife. Works when you need it. Tough. Best warranty I've seen. Thank you for watching. This is Odin's Wolf Survival. Please like, subscribe, and share. And have a glorious day.